So Payton, what'd you do this Valentine's Day, my friend?
Oh, my girlfriend did a really nice thing. She made a bunch of crayon hearts and molded them and made them for me, and gave it to me as a Valentine's Day gift, and
That's
candies
amazing.
and stuff. Yeah. What did you do?
I cried a lot. I shopped on Amazon and I ate some chicken.
How was that?
I wouldn't recommend it.
Hey, welcome to Watch on 3. I'm Payton Fretwell.
And I'm Christopher Gates. Thank you for joining us. Righty. We already no need for the introduction on this one, do we?
No, we don't. This movie speaks for itself. We're talking about Deadpool today.
Deadpool, yes.
Deadpool.
Chimichangas.
Yeah, we've been looking forward to this movie for, what, 3 years now?
I think so.
Long time.
Let's see. When was the last time X-Men Origins came out?
Who knows?
Okay.
I try to forget that movie.
Fox tried to forget it too. They did a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, I think they feel like they made a good choice.
I think they did.
Ryan Reynolds has been campaigning for this movie for a long time. The internet definitely thinks that was the perfect choice for Deadpool, and after seeing this movie, we can agree.
I'm going to be honest with you. I know we talked about in our previous videos before, and while the excitement was there, I'm not going to lie to you. My expectations were on the low side. I wasn't really
cautiously
sure.
Optimistic.
Thank you. That's the best way to put it. Cautiously optimistic. I wasn't really sure where to place this film, but when I saw it this past weekend, I was actually really amazed. I was like, wow, for a movie that had a less than $60 million budget.
Yeah, it wasn't that much compared to most superhero movies.
It is a rated R action comedy movie. I was really impressed with it. Ryan Reynolds did a great job playing the character, and I thought that the whole movie itself was really well done.
You actually saw it before I did.
I did, and I couldn't
Yeah.
hold it back. But you had a good reason. This guy right here is a true gentleman. He waited until his girlfriend, as part of their Valentine's Day gift, to go see it.
That was the worst.
I'm single,
3
so it
days.
doesn't matter to me.
Having to wait while everyone else watched it.
I was trying to tell him about it too. He's like, "Are you quoting Deadpool?" I was like, "Yeah." Don't.
I had the earmuffs all weekend when you talked about it. It was just
one thing we
hard.
did forget to mention. We are talking about the movie. This is spoiler free. So if you
no
haven't
spoilers.
seen it yet, there's not going to be spoilers.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say 100%. We may mention a few things, but for the most part, it is spoiler free.
Stuff we like. We won't be talking about the story or anything related to X-Men. Not that there is anything related to X-Men. Just
it's just the movie itself
in general.
But
getting into it, I definitely enjoy. This is a movie that heavily benefited from being rated R. This is definitely a movie that I feel like had they made it PG-13, like a lot of the other Fox superhero movies, it wouldn't have been as funny because there are a lot of curse words in this movie. It would not have been as fun, I don't think, because they would have been trying to duck and weave and make it just PG enough to where they can get away with putting Deadpool in it, but at the same time, not offending anybody.
I think that was the first thing that I was probably surprised with. I see a lot of obviously we see a lot of rated R movies in our day.
We are adults.
We are adults. We are.
Contrary to how we act, we are adults.
Our IDs say differently. I was really actually shocked because one of the big debates I've seen people talk about was like, can they take their kids to go see this movie?
Absolutely.
And absolutely not. Let's just put that out there.
Do not take your kids.
This is not a kids movie. It's not. It's strictly for adults. It has a lot of adult humor. It has a lot, like Payton said, a lot of curse words, swear words, violence. It's strictly an adult film, 100%. It earns that rated R rating. And I think that's one of the things I was going to be honest with you, surprised. I shouldn't be surprised because it's rated R, but I was just surprised to be like, wow, for a mainstream comic book movie they're trying to maintain, they really kept it.
The rated R aspect, I think, gave them a whole lot of freedom to make the movie that they wanted to make.
It did.
And it shows because a lot of the humor and a lot of the action that occurs in the movie is so Deadpool, it looks like it's ripped right out of the comic book. Tim Miller did a great job directing this film.
For his first directorial movie, too.
His first film that he's directed with him and Ryan Reynolds, they really came together for this passion project and made a great piece of, I dare say, art. For superhero film fans, it is definitely a work of art because it not only pokes fun at itself, it pokes fun at other superhero movies and kind of the tropes and cliches we see in those kind of movies. Kind of tears them a new one.
One of the things I had to say about it that for a rated R movie, and how much money it made. It made what, like 135 million plus just here in North America,
That's
over 200 million around the world. What is your aspect on this for other superhero movies that are going to come out? And
I think it's really important for rated R movies and superhero rated R movies specifically. I know we saw recently Todd McFarlane, who is a big writer of the Spawn franchise.
Yes.
He's been campaigning to get a Spawn movie made that he can direct, and I think Spawn is another one of those comic book franchises that would heavily benefit from being rated R.
It definitely
because
would.
it has a lot of gore and it has a lot of dark themes that I don't think.
It's a man that went straight to, well,
went straight to hell. And it's a
made
dark
a deal with
movie.
the devil. It's like, hey, I need you to do something for me. You can't PG-13 that.
Yeah,
That's just
you
it.
can't animate that and put Disney characters in it. Well, what I'm worried about and what I'm hung up on is that studios will see this as, oh, what people like now are action comedies that are rated R, and what they tend to do when they do that is studios don't follow what make movies good, they follow trends.
Yeah.
So they'll see that this movie did really well, and we'll probably see a big influx of rated R action comedies, maybe even superhero ones that are kind of just thrown together to make money and jump on this trend that Deadpool has made.
The one thing I think that sets Deadpool about is the character itself. The one thing that made this movie is that, and what made it rated R work so well, is that Deadpool himself, anyone who's read the comic books and knows about the character, this is really just coming to life. All the fourth wall talk, all Deadpool not caring.
There's a lot of fourth wall talk.
The witty banter, it's all in there. And I think that's one of the reasons why it'll stand out versus if you just take another, other comic books that or graphic novels that would require a hard R rating and try to make it. I think that if you stick to it, it'll make it work. I think that's what made Deadpool stand out because they stuck to its formula.
Yeah, let's talk about some of our pros and cons of this.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I mentioned, this is a funny movie.
It is.
It is funny. This is one of the first movies I've seen in a long time that made me laugh from the beginning of it to the end of it. Now, granted, if you're not into superhero movies or if you're not really into crass kind of humor, like I said, it's very rated R. Might not be the movie for you if you're not into that kind of humor. Obviously, we are very
we like potty humor.
We love potty humor.
We can't help it.
We grew up with it.
It's what made us as adults that we are today.
Like I said, we're adults, contrary to how we act.
It shaped us.
Like I said, it makes fun of itself and other superhero movies. I like that self-awareness that Deadpool carries. Like I said, ripped out of the comic books.
Just the beginning of the movie, it makes fun of some of even Ryan Reynolds' mistakes that he has made.
Exactly.
And there's like little Easter eggs in the movie that when you see it, you're just like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe they did that.
The love story between Ryan Reynolds' character and Marina Baccarin, I hope I'm saying that name right.
I think
Vanessa.
it's close enough. She's actually the character that she's supposed to be is another comic character. I can't think of her name right now. But
Copycat.
Thank you.
Copycat.
Thank you.
And I was actually a little disappointed by her part. That's not really. She was great.
Yeah, the actress who played her was great.
I was just a little disappointed with how they used her in the film. That's not necessarily a knock on the film. That's just my expectations going into the movie not being met. So, but
there's plenty of time for the sequel.
Exactly, which is already greenlit.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely have a Deadpool sequel coming out soon. Their love story. They had great chemistry. I actually found myself caring about these two people.
You do.
And in superhero movies, that's really hard because you want to get back to the action as soon as possible. So for these two people, for you to actually care about their story and to want to find out if they get back together in the end and or it saves the girl, that kind of stuff. Usually we get bored with that and we're like, come on, move through it. But I actually cared about that aspect of the film, and I thought that was a really good achievement on their part.
It was actually, when you find out about Wade Wilson's character getting the cancer, and you got to see the dynamic of that, it really adds levity to this character. A lot of the trailers and the commercials you see, yes, it's Deadpool, he's very witty, he's funny, but actually, like the character himself, he's actually, despite what him saying he's not a superhero, he's actually not a bad guy.
He's kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah, that's what he is. He's an anti-hero. He's not your X-Men, he's not your Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Captain America, any of those people, but he is just a guy who's given an ability and he's going to do, what is best to his ability to do so. And I like that aspect of the movie. I thought that was pretty good.
He tells his own story, and that's what I think this movie benefited from. It told its own small contained
Also like
story.
Ajax.
Ajax was great. Ed Skrein as Ajax. He was serviceable as a villain.
He was there to serve the plot. Yeah.
He was your typical bad guy, and I think at the beginning of the movie he was kind of and then toward the end he really started to pick up, and you were like, I want this guy dead.
Definitely.
And it benefited from having a small story that felt big. And I think that really helped.
That was one thing that you mentioned, that I'm just watching the movie. A lot of the set pieces in the movie, a lot of it's contained into the similar area. It's very, you have the bar scene where Deadpool meets his friends and everything, and meets his sidekick. There's the big action scenes that most of you probably seen in the commercials.
Yeah.
The final fight scene, and a few other scenes here and there. But the movie itself is maintained mainly in that one place.
It's a small film.
Yeah.
But because of the names and the action that takes place in set scenes, it feels like a much larger movie, and I think it really. I keep saying benefited from. I'm trying to use different words, but it really did.
Where's that thesaurus?
Yeah, I need my thesaurus to come up with different words, but it's definitely. I can't speak highly enough about this movie. It definitely.
I'll be honest with you. I was highly impressed with it going into.
Even the side characters were good in this movie.
Oh,
the X-Men. Brianna Hildebrand, she played Negasonic Teenage Warhead. I say that 3 times fast. But she didn't have a lot to say in this movie, but I feel like she portrayed the character.
For the two X-Men characters they picked, Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, that's a mouthful. You would sit there and think like, wow, these are the most 2 random X-Men characters they can pick. Yeah. But they work so well with them, especially Colossus. Yeah. This is not like the previous Colossus that you've seen in the X-Men movies before. This Colossus was actually very comedic. He actually served as he is your typical A hero.
And he was actually Russian. He's Russian in the comic books, but in the previous X-Men movies, he was an American. He looked like he was maybe 18 years old, but really got in the weight room. Sorry,
nerd alert here, and that's something we're going to bring up pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll have nerd
alert. Since you said that, Black Widow is supposed to be Russian. I love Scarlett Johansson, but she's
her name's Romanoff.
Romanoff, and as much as I love the character, there's a part of me that's like, she's Russian. Yeah. And yet you got Scarlet Witch, and she's playing a Russian accent. But that's a whole different.
Well, thing. That's a whole nother video.
But anyway,
we'll get on that.
But no, actually, those the 2 X-Men characters. They really set the tone for. I like to see the sequel. I think this will set. I know one of the things that Ryan Reynolds has been talking about is seeing an X-Force movie. Well, we'll see.
Him and Cable. That will be great.
That will be great. Yeah, if you put Cable and you put him and you even put some other X-Men characters in it, you got yourself another franchise here.
He needs a good straight man for Cable. They need to cast.
Of course, that's him. They have to get to that. I think one of the cons that we've already mentioned before, but it's just the heavily rated R aspect of the movie. It's obviously, like we said, it's definitely not for your family. No, it is a movie that can offend easily. There's a lot of the jokes and stuff that they say in there are actually timely to today, but it's still it hits on a lot of
So if you're the kind of person who finds himself being offended at the occasional potty humor type joke or the occasional insults or something like that, maybe don't go see this movie because you'll probably not have a good time.
And another thing is, if you are not a fan of Ryan Reynolds, you are definitely not going to like this movie.
If you've seen 1 or 2 Ryan Reynolds comedies, you probably know his style of humor. Yeah. It's definitely amped up to 11 at this point in the movie. Another con related to the X-Men aspect, like we said, they act really well in the movie. They portray their comic book characters. My issue with them in the movie is it felt a little forced. That Fox was like, hey, don't forget to include the X-Men because we have to include him in this X-Men universe. Yeah. And Deadpool actually brings that up in the movie.
He does. That's actually one of the big jokes.
I won't say the joke, but it was very funny because it spoke to exactly what I was thinking at the time.
And I'm sure both our audience out with we all laugh when he says the joke.
And there is a post-credit scene in the movie. So if you end up going to see the movie, stay after the credits and check that out. It's really worth it.
Oh yeah, it's actually, the whole movie itself is worth seeing. Like I said, leave the kids at home. Definitely not a family movie. There are some the pros in this case really do outweigh the cons. Yeah. Honestly, it's one of the few movies that I guess for me, I didn't have too much to really complain about, only because my expectations were so low and it exceeded it. It's just, I look at it as a film like, wow, this could have been terrible.
It could have
really been. But it turned out well.
And conversely, I wouldn't say I had low expectations, but I was also cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
And I have been hearing a lot of things going into it since I saw it so late. I heard a lot of things going in thinking it was really good, so that had amped up my expectations, and it still exceeded my expectations. So it was a very good movie dealing with
We
that.
definitely give it a watch. We definitely give it a watch.
Go see it.
We'll tell you to go check it out. And if you don't check it out now, wait a few months. It'll be on Blu-ray. You'll be able to rent it on Redbox and all that sort of stuff.
And we'll probably do a rental review.
Oh, of course, we're gonna do a rental review about that.
I don't know. We'll see.
So,
but definitely, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Don't forget, if you like this episode and you want to watch more of it, you can go to wrbl.com and check out our videos. You can go on our Facebook page.
You go on YouTube, Twitter. Just tweet with us. You can tweet us questions, anything that you want us to talk about and stuff. And
at WRBL, what to watch.
Definitely so. And other things that we got coming up, we'll be doing, as we mentioned, rental reviews pretty soon. And we have a few other little tasty delectables that we got coming out. So
rental review is when we. Me and Chris will be reviewing movies that come out on Redbox, so you know what to get while you're standing in front of that giant wall of movies.
Like, there's so many of them, and you're out, and it's cold outside, and other guys honking at you, saying, "What's taking so long?" And you're like, "Hey, buddy," you shut your mouth. He gets out the car.
People get so violent at the Redbox.
Maybe that's just my Redbox.
Yeah,
that's the one I.
You're going to the wrong Redbox.
I go to the one over there. There's a Walgreens. I think it's a Walgreens. I'm not sure, but that guy, he was tough.
Okay, that raises a few questions about your Walgreens that you go to. You should go to a CVS pharmacy where it's less violent.
You're right. I keep forgetting. Dang, you're so right, Payton.
But definitely go check out those videos, guys, and stay up to date on our Twitter at WRBL What to Watch. We have polls and the latest movie news on there. Also on our Facebook page, we have the latest news, and check out the rest of our videos. As always, I'm Payton Fretwell.
And I'm Christopher Gates. Thank you for joining us, and tune in the next time on What to Watch.
Finger guns.
I got a real gun in the thing. Oh, is this mic still on?